We don't exactly know where this came from. We know he got 4 Pfizer vaccines. This is different than any other vaccine we've sequenced from them, but we've only sequenced 2 Pfizer lots to date, ever. So they could have multiple versions out there. This could maybe be their first version of this that hit Germany early, and they changed to get rid of the CMV promoter later. But if you want to line these up to other vaccines, so the one on the left is what is actually BNT1, 162b2. This is something that's never been described before. It has that red box, that CMV promoter, but it is a backbone that's a commonly used plasmid in the field. When people want to study coronaviruses, they plug spike protein into this thing, or the sequence, to look for how the variants change. You may have heard alpha, delta, omega. Well, they're always categorizing these variants of concern by taking the spike they find in nature, throwing it into that backbone and saying, how does it behave differently in mammalian cells? So this little thing is known as pcDNA3. This plasmid is all over the country in terms of research laboratories. So we can't entirely pin this on Pfizer, although that's probably the most likely place where it came from. He was injected. It could, in fact, have leaked from a laboratory doing that type of work. This just shows you the kind of the parts and the components that are the same and different between the 2 different flavors of these things that we have found. But as I mentioned before, the first hypothesis they're going to come at us is saying, you guys contaminated this again, right? Well, the reason why that doesn't fit is we've never handled those plasmids in our life before. Neither lab has ever seen those. And you can't take a plasmid and put it onto formalin-fixed tissue and get it to make spike protein, because that formalin fixation is kind of like carbon freezing Han Solo. The cells just are not translationally active after you've done that, so you can't put a plasmid on formalin-fixed tissue and get spike to show up. This person has spike IHC. That means they were translationally competent when the plasmid was there. They had to be alive. So I don't think that's the answer, but you'll see that in the next fact check, I'm sure. So Pfizer could have more than one plasmid out in the marketplace. That would be a huge shock because they have never disclosed it to anybody. That'd be a problem. And they have one that's much more dangerous. This is we're finding this in a colon cancer sample, and it's making spike protein. It's a very high copy number, which means it is replication competent, which means it could be transmissible. Transmissible cancer is really not something we want in the world.